¿Cómo estás? Buenos días. Mi nombre es Timoteo. Good morning to you. I'm the Reverend Tim Kutzmark, and I have the great pleasure of serving as minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Fresno, California. Welcome to our Sunday service. I am wearing our official UUCF, or Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, face covering / mask for two reasons. The first is a shameless plug. These are currently on sale for $5, and you can get them through our website, www.uufresno.org. Just go to the store option, and they're on sale now for the holidays for $5 a piece. They make great gifts for yourself and your loved ones. The chalice right there. But the real reason I'm wearing this is just to remind us as Unitarian Universalists, or at least as folks who want to place love at the center of your life, this mask protects the lives of others. As Unitarian Universalists, we say we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And part of that means it is our obligation to protect one another. And so we wear this mask as it's a humanitarian act to wear a mask. So an affirmation of that. I am really glad you're here. You know, you could have done anything this Sunday morning, and you've decided to come and be with this progressive spiritual community that puts love, justice, spiritual growth, and service at the core of what it means to be a religious person, a spiritual person. So our service is going to begin in about 3 minutes. So you do have time to, you can like us on Facebook here if you haven't done that already. You also can share this stream with all of your friends. That way you're inviting them to join you, spreading the word that we're here and we welcome all to join us. And you got time for, as I always say, another cup of coffee, a bio break, and time to get a candle, or candle. Get a candle or a chalice so that you can, there's my chalice back there, so that you can join Danny when Danny's not doing it, I'm doing it, when I light the chalice this morning. See you in 3 minutes. Bye-bye.
Hola, buenos dias. Good morning. I'm Ida Jones, and I serve gratefully as past president of your Board of Trustees. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Our church mission statement perfectly captures who we are as a Unitarian Universalist people of faith. As you are comfortable, please join me in saying, La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. With this vision of a shared identity and purpose, we welcome each other no matter our race, age, cultural background, sexual orientation, or gender identity. We welcome each other no matter our spiritual beliefs or religious upbringing. We welcome each other no matter our disabilities, documentation status, amount of education, or level of income. We welcome each other into our virtual sanctuary of memory, hope, and vision. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. I also want to remind you that you are held by and in love. We each may experience that love in different ways, or call it by different names, but we rest in this love. Let's also not forget that justice is what love looks like in public. In that spirit, I lovingly pass you to Tim.
Muchas gracias, Ida. And so, dear ones, let the sound of the tingsha carry us together into that place that allows us to open to the mysteries that are within us, among us, and beyond us. And into this stillness, we bring sound, the sound of a match lighting, the sound of fire igniting, and then the sight of a candle lighting, reminding us that the fire of love burns within each of our precious human hearts. We're going to take those precious human hearts and we're going to connect them to our precious human bodies as we use our bodies and our voices to join in our song of praise. So there's movement, and you might want to stand up for this. So the words are, and the movements, gathered here. So it's like you're gathering together. So gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. So let's try that again. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here
Hola, soy Danny. Howdy friends, I'm Danny. Earlier this week, we posted in the church Facebook page, what are some things you're feeling grateful for this Thanksgiving season? Now, Nicholas, Eliana, and I will share some of those gratitudes with you from the congregation. We'll also include our own voices in this reflection.
Our response is, Damos gracias por cosas temporales. We give thanks for temporary things.
Can we try that together? Damos gracias por cosas temporales. We give thanks for temporary things. We give thanks for bodies that keep on kicking, children who provide emotional and physical support, strength in hard times, and the fact that garlic goes with everything. For walks in the woods, Saturday morning pickleball games, and learning to play lacrosse.
We give thanks for family, friends, and the co-housing community, socially distant visits, chick aquariums and free-range drag shows, and kids who are resilient. For local avocados, apples, and fuyu persimmons. For the work of Wings Advocacy Fresno, and for the opportunity to be with loved ones in their final days.
Damos gracias por cosas temporales. We give thanks for temporary things.
We give thanks for dogs, health, grandchildren who give life new meaning, that the Dodgers finally didn't choke in the series, for experiencing the night sky without lights, streets without cars, a scrub baseball game, and for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno's community.
Damos gracias por cosas temporales. We give thanks for temporary things. We give thanks for historical activists who fought for women's suffrage, abolition, civil rights, reproductive rights, LGBTQIA equality, environmental protection, and religious freedom, for access to health care, the occasional treat, Sunday services, mothers, partners, daughters, Zoom and music, for families, cats, teachers, books, and toys. Damos gracias por cosas temporales. We give thanks for temporary things.
We give thanks for husbands, fulfilling jobs, yoga, poetry, art, for a place to call home, a dedicated staff team, and the considered leadership provided by our Board of Trustees.
Damos gracias por cosas temporales. We give thanks for temporary things.
We give thanks for green trees and roses, rain and cooler weather, coffee, for hearing and eyesight to see the smiles of friends, for heated mattress pads and morning bike rides, and parents who instilled a commitment to world peace. Now, one final time, we say it together.
Damos gracias por cosas temporales. We give thanks for temporary things.
Now, let us sing together. We gather together.
We gather together in joyful thanksgiving, acclaiming creation whose bounty we share. Both sorrow and gladness we find now in our living. We sing a hymn of praise to the life that we bear. We gather together to join in the journey, confirming, committing our passage to be a true affirmation in joy and tribulation. When bound to human care and hope, then we are free. We sing now together our song of thanksgiving, rejoicing in goods which the ages have wrought, for life that unfolds us and helps and heals and holds us and leads beyond the gold which our forebears once sought.
We are mindful how grateful we are for our breath, for this next in-breath and this next out-breath, especially in this time of COVID when the virus attacks the lungs and so greatly compromises a person's ability to breathe, sometimes completely eliminating that ability and claiming a life. We look anew at our ability to take an in-breath and release an out-breath. And so mindfully together, let's take a breath in, breathing in peace. We hold just a moment, and then we breathe out love. And again, breathing in that promise of peace, we hold just a moment. We breathe out love. One more time, breathing in peace into every cell of your body. Just hold for a moment. We breathe out love. And so together we celebrate and we contemplate two questions. The first question: what is something outside your window that you are grateful for? What is something inside yourself that you are grateful for? On Friday, the world recognized the 21st annual Transgender Day of Remembrance, a day we set aside to remember those trans persons who have been murdered because of transphobia. Rodrigo Heng Lieutenant, Deputy Executive Director for the National Center for Transgender Equality, reminds us that transgender people, and particularly Black and Latina transgender women, are marginalized, stigmatized, and criminalized in our country. In 2020, there were 300 trans individuals murdered worldwide, 34 of them in the United States and Puerto Rico. The average age was 31, the youngest was 15. Today, we lift up 3 of those lives that mattered and matter still. Nulisa Luciana Ruiz, a Latina transgender woman who was shot to death in Roa Baja, Puerto Rico on February 24th, 12 hours after someone reported her to police for using a women's restroom at a McDonald's. Nina Pop, age 28, a Black transgender woman who was murdered in her apartment in Sikeston, Missouri on May 3rd. Brayla Stone, age 17, a Black transgender teenager who was shot and killed in Little Rock, Arkansas on June 25th. Their lives matter. If you believe this is true, type the number 1 in the comment box. And so together, we now create the space to bring forth our joys, our sorrows, our gratitudes, our concerns. If there's something that you would like to share this morning, just type it right into the comment box. If you are talking about somebody else, be sure not to use their last name so that you're able to protect and honor their privacy. And as we share from the heart, and as we receive into our hearts, we also lift up the names of our beloveds who today need extra prayers, blessings, need to be wrapped in an embrace of light and love. Today, we also celebrate the life of Joe Fox, our beloved longtime church member who passed into the mysteries of death this week after a long illness. It just seems like yesterday that we sang happy birthday to Joe on her 90th birthday, and now we bid her a loving farewell. Jo wrote her own biography, and I just wanted to share a snippet or two. Born in London during the Great Depression of the 1930s, Jo was evacuated at 10 years old to avoid the London Blitz. A scholarship to a preparatory school introduced her to the arts and humanities and a lifelong love of learning. Determined not to follow the path of marriage, child-rearing, and life in the suburbs expected of women in the 1950s, Jo took a position of a live-in housekeeper to a family in Los Angeles, leaving her family behind in England and beginning the adventure and journey that was her life. With a precious U.S. work permit secured, at the end of her one-year contract, Josephine, as she wrote here in her bio, took a Greyhound bus to San Francisco and found employment in a Post Street retail store. She had found the career she loved. Friends remember Jo as genuine, warm, a caring person who had a talent for storytelling. Jo was instrumental in the creation of our beloved Narama Walker Youth Library. Jo wrote her own obituary. Josephine has set out on her final adventure. Believing in the Big Bang Theory, she was confident that it is as a twinkle amid the stardust-filled firmament of the night sky, or in a yet-to-be-discovered, far-off universe. Goodbye, Jo. And so for all that has been shared, for all that we hold in the silence, in the stillness and in the sacredness of our own hearts, and for all those who on this Sunday have no one to remember them, no one to speak their name with tenderness or love, we light our candle of community. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. We light a second candle this morning. It burns first for the over 250,000 Americans who have now lost their lives to COVID-19. It burns for the over 1.34 million citizens of the world who also have lost their lives in this pandemic. In the light of these candles, we will join our voices in our call to meditation. The words, "How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul." The first time you sing it, imagine you're looking in a mirror and you're singing those words to your precious self. The second time, sing it for someone else that you know needs love and affirmation and support on this day. And then on the third time, picture the world, all the people of this world, and sing it to the oneness that is all.
How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. ¿Cómo podría alguien decirte que eres menos que bello? ¿Cómo podría alguien decirte que eres menos que completo? ¿Cómo podría alguien faltar el milagro de tu amor? Eres tan conectado a mi alma. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Oración del campesino en la lucha. Escrito por César E. Chavez, fundador con Dolores Huerta de la UFF. Prayer of the Farmworkers Struggle. Written by Cesar Chavez, co-founder with Dolores Huerta of the United Farmworkers Union. Let us pray. Enséñame el sufrimiento de los más desafortunados. Así conoceré el dolor de mi pueblo. Líbrame a orar por los demás, porque estás presente en cada persona. Ayúdame a tomar responsabilidad de mi propia vida. Solo así seré libre al fin. Show me the suffering of the most miserable, so I will know my people's plight. Free me to pray for others, for you are present in every person. Help me to take responsibility for my own life so that I can be free at last. Concédeme valentía para servir al prójimo, porque en la entrega hay vida verdadera. Concédeme honradez y paciencia, para que yo pueda trabajar junto con otros trabajadores. Alúmbranos con el canto y la celebración, para que levanten el espíritu entre nosotros. Grant me courage to serve others, for in service there is true life. Give me honesty and patience, so that I can work with other workers. Bring forth song and celebration, so that the Spirit will be alive among us. Que el Espíritu florezca y crezca, para que no nos cansemos en la lucha. Nos acordamos de los que han caído por la justicia, porque a nosotros han entregado la vida. Ayúdanos a amar aún a los que nos odian. Así podremos cambiar el mundo. Let the Spirit flourish and grow, so we will never tire of the struggle. Let us remember those who have died for justice, for they have given us life. Help us love even those who hate us, so we can change the world. Así sea, bendito sea. May it be so, blessed be. Amen.
farmers, we hauled in the harvest and founded Thanksgiving Day. With food in the shed for the winter ahead, we would gather together to say, thanks for our health, thanks for our hearth, and the bounty that grows from the ground. With our loved ones near, we bless the year that's brought us safely round. Now we are shoppers, we drive to the market. The farm seems a light year away. Still every November we pause to remember that time-honored old-fashioned day. Thanks for our health, thanks for our hearth, and the bounty that grows from the ground. With our loved ones near, we bless the year that's brought us safely round. Everything changes, yes, even Thanksgiving. Let's rededicate this sole day to helping the hungry, the poor, and the homeless, so all may be able to say, thanks for our health, thanks for our hearth, and the bounty that grows from the ground. With our loved ones near, we bless the year that's brought us safely round. With our loved ones near, we bless the year that's brought us safely round.
I'm aware that we are entering into this season of Thanksgiving with a real complex mixture of emotions. 8 months of pandemic, of racial reckoning, of political chaos and deep division in this country. So we enter this time with a lot of loss. We're grieving even as we feel great gratitude for many things. And so this will be a Thanksgiving and holiday season unlike any other we've experienced. And so I want to lift up that dual reality of grief and gratitude, of mourning and of thanksgiving. I've asked Lisa and Tina to share from their own lives how they are living within their mourning and loss and their gratitude and thanksgiving.
I grew up in Utah, and currently my parents and 2 brothers and 1 sister all live in Utah still. I have another brother in New York City. So getting together in Utah is what the holidays means to me. I travel out there every Christmas, and I also travel out there every summer. So this year has felt very different. Last weekend, 2 weeks ago now, I was able to see my brother and his family. We went camping outside of Las Vegas and met up there, and our trip got cut short because of rain. And it was so hard to have such a short amount of time with those adorable kids who I, of course, miss incredibly. And as we're rolling into the holiday season, and I don't know when I will see all my family again, it's really hard right now. I feel lonely. I feel depressed. And it's getting dark too early. It's hard right now. So one thing that I'm really thankful for is there's this app called Marco Polo, and First, my niece, who's a teenager, she and I use it all the time. Sometimes it's almost like we're talking in real time. It's basically you're sending each other videos. And so you record a video and then they record a video back. And you can also use it as a group. And so my family has a group. So like my sister will record pictures of, the schoolwork her kids are doing from home as they do their homeschooling. And then my sister-in-law will record, one of her kids playing outside. And then I can record my reaction. She'll play it for the kids. It makes it as close as it can be to actually being there. And then in addition, I have a group of friends here in Fresno, and we all use the app to stay connected with each other. So these are people I see face to face sometimes, but we're all just basically checking in on each other, talking to each other daily, getting to know each other in ways that we wouldn't have otherwise because we're having intentional conversation. And it's just been a really beautiful thing for me to be able to use this app, Marco Polo, to stay connected to people during this time where it takes effort to feel connection. So that is what I'm thankful for. Thank you.
This Thanksgiving, I mourn the loss of my father, Frank, who passed into the great beyond 4 years ago last month. One of 4 children born to a Trinidadian mother and a Portuguese father, Frank grew up in poverty in Trinidad. He was raised by his grandmother after his parents abandoned him, his father back to Portugal, and his mother to the United States to seek a way out of poverty. But Frank was a smart young man with a winning smile and a love of storytelling. He was friendly and popular, hardworking and modest. Frank never met a stranger and had a lot of loyal friends. He would give someone the shirt off his back if they needed it. Frank was optimistic and gregarious, kind and warm-hearted. When Frank was 16, he too moved to the U.S., where he worked his way through medical school by washing dishes. As a father, Frank was loving, supportive, generous, inspiring, and funny. When I was about 25 years old, I found a book in a box he had left in his mother's basement called How to Raise a Successful Daughter, which he had bought around the time of my birth. And he had highlighted certain things and underlined them. Okay. Frank never complained, never lamented his humble beginnings, never had a bad word for my mother, despite an unpleasant divorce, and instilled in me a disdain for pretentiousness, hypocrisy, and whining. So today, I mourn the loss of my beloved father. At the same time, I am grateful for the lesson his life taught me about resilience, about getting up after you're knocked down, about looking within for your own inspiration, and for setting an example of how far optimism and hard work can take you if you have faith in yourself and make it a priority to use your gifts to help others.
At this time of year, I usually lose myself in autumn splendor, that array of reds, oranges, yellows, and browns that paint across Fresno's landscape. I savor the crispness of our cooling San Joaquin Valley. I drool at the plethora of pumpkin spice offerings at Starbucks and Trader Joe's. I daydream about what new food I'll feature as a side dish at Thanksgiving dinner. And it's not that I haven't been doing that. I have. And I feel so grateful that Fresno has gifted us with a spectacularly beautiful fall season. I'm grateful that this Thursday, I'll be fortunate enough to carve a turkey, enjoy broiled Brussels sprouts, sausage and celery stuffing, my mom's recipe, and creamy mashed potatoes drowned in brown gravy. I know that many in the city, valley, state, and country will not be as fortunate, especially during the pandemic, and I don't take that lightly. But this year, for all of us, whether our Thanksgiving meal is turkey with all the fixins, beans and rice, a frozen meal microwaved, a box from the food pantry, or a sandwich ordered from a drive-through window, we will all share one thing in common. We will host more than gratitude at the table, for grief will sit there in equal measure. Lisa and Tina have shared with us the personal mourning they will carry to the Thanksgiving table. I know that you will carry your own losses to your table on Thanksgiving. But after a summer of racial reckoning that still is unfolding even as it has transformed and mobilized so many, I'm aware there is a profound mourning at this time of year that must be acknowledged and invited to become part of how we as Unitarian Universalists hold the complexity of this Thanksgiving holiday. The land that I am standing upon, the land that my feet are touching, is sacred and stolen land. Fresno sits on the ancestral land of the Mono people. These indigenous roots run deep into this valley and through the countless generations who lived on this land. As Reverend Norman Broadbent wrote for this afternoon's Interfaith Alliance of Central California Community Interfaith Thanksgiving celebration, we hear the echoes of prayers to a great Mother Earth. We acknowledge the history of pain, disease, and lost lives. Too many of the Mono people's ancestors endured being colonized or enslaved. Though we can't reverse the course of history, neither let us ignore it. Let us look history in the eye and accept its sometimes painful truths. Let us honor the memory of those who died on and for this land, those shackled in bondage, those who lost their sovereignty. We must also acknowledge that theft of land and resources and the displacement of America's indigenous communities are not just sins of the past, but realities of the present. This is epitomized by the recent battle of the water protectors of the Standing Rock Sioux Nation against the oil interests of the Dakota Access Pipeline. The taking of the lives of America's indigenous people is not just a sin of the past, but the reality of the present. This is clearly seen in the disproportionate, deadly impact this pandemic has had on indigenous people who often lack access to quality medical care and other resources that impact health and longevity. As a white person who lives within the privilege of this identity, I have to work hard to ever expand my own ability to hear the pain and see the truth of what our white primacy history and white primacy culture has done to the lived experience of Black, brown, Indigenous, and other people of color. Yesterday, I mentioned today's sermon topic to an acquaintance I ran into at the grocery store. She replied, "Look, I get the need to talk about equity for persons of color, but can't you give it a break for just one day and let me enjoy my Thanksgiving?" But that's the problem. One person's Thanksgiving day is another person's day of mourning. About a year ago, I had one of those moments when my own racial ignorance lessened ever so slightly. I was watching the film Awake, A Dream of Standing Rock. At one moment in the movie, we see about 100 Indigenous persons crossing the river to stand on their ancestral burying ground, which the state police have forcibly occupied and declared off limits. It is Thanksgiving Day. One young Indigenous person is weeping, saying, "This is our land. It is legally part of our nation. On this day of all days, we want to pray on the land that holds the bones of our ancestors. This is not a day of Thanksgiving. This day marks the beginning of a genocide against us." Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Wendy Williams observes, "There's nothing wrong with gratitude, but it is deeply problematic to invite it by perpetuating a myth that invisibilizes Indigenous whole and holy lives while promoting white European exceptionalism through both theology and policy. It's even more problematic for us as Unitarian Universalists. The Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, the president of our national denomination, wrote this week, "Let us be mindful that many hearts in Indigenous communities of New England and across this country ache on Thanksgiving Day every year. In Plymouth, Massachusetts, Indigenous people observe the holiday as a day of mourning. This year will mark the 50th anniversary of this day of mourning tradition and the 400th anniversary of the landing of the Pilgrims in Plymouth. Historically, Unitarian Universalist ministers were instrumental in creating this U.S. holiday and the Pilgrims and Indians pageant tradition that roots the holiday in a historically inaccurate and harmful colonial narrative. Many Unitarian Universalist congregations in New England can trace their lineage directly back to early settler congregations that had a role in the genocide of Native communities. As a religious tradition, we cannot decide who we will be without reckoning with the truth of who some of our ancestors were. Reverend Susan continues, "In truth, Thanksgiving celebrations have a long and rich history that predates the landing of the Pilgrims and the founding of the United States. There are many, many ways that we can connect in gratitude and celebrate the abundance of the fall harvest as a community without celebrating an ahistorical colonial origin story. This year, let us be grateful in a genuine manner Let our gratitude flow from our deep ongoing commitment to justice and equity. Let our gratitude grow from the opportunities we have to be together authentically, whether virtually or in person. Let us reimagine this day and gather in community to honor Indigenous ancestors, experiences, and traditions. May it be a time to reflect and find meaning in how our shared values connect us. This Thursday, a day of mourning and Thanksgiving, we may set a table for our meal, whatever it will contain. We may bring to that table our gratitude and our grief. Grief for the loss we've experienced over these last 8 months of pandemic. But before we reflect on that gratitude and grief, may we remember that the Thanksgiving table at which we sit rests upon land that is sacred and stolen. May we remember that our Thanksgiving table stands upon land that is the ancestral homeland of the Mono people. May we remember that our country's collective Thanksgiving table stands on a land whose economic structure depends on the annihilation of Indigenous peoples and the enslavement of Africans forcibly relocated from their own lands. My friends, may we remember these words from Indigenous poet Linda Hogan. I am from a particle of history told by the wrong people, a country before lines of division. Some live with forgotten truth. Others replaced truth with belief. We can weep over such things as lost love, as the passage away of others, but also remember how the land hurts in more chambers than one small heart could ever hold.
Grateful for each hand we hold. Gather round this table. From far and near we travel home. Blessed that we are able. Grateful for this sheltered place, with light in every window. Say welcome, welcome, share this feast. Come in away from sorrow. Father, mother, daughter, son, neighbor, friend, and friendless, all together, everyone, in the gift of loving kindness. Grateful for what's understood and all that is forgiven. try so hard to be good, to lead a life worth living. Father, mother, daughter, son, neighbor, friend, and friendless, all together, everyone. Let grateful days be endless. Grateful for each hand we hold, gathered around this table.
Greetings. Ida here again. Each month, we hold a special offering for a social justice group, organization, or individual that is in alignment with our Unitarian Universalist values. This Sunday, we are pleased to lift up the important social justice and arts work of Teatro de la Tierra. Teatro de la Tierra is dedicated to the preservation and advancement of Mexican and Latin American art and culture. Since 1971, Teatro de la Tierra has produced high-quality performances of theater and music that represent the cultural heritage of Mexicans, Chicanos, and Latinos, specifically Chicano theater. The Teatro offers free bilingual theatrical training to the community to develop a new generation of artists, creates and produces original works that reflect contemporary issues and living cultural practices, and strives to honor the contributions of and raise the status of low-income Mexican and Latino immigrant laborers. Please give as generously as you are able through Cash App, credit card, PayPal, or by sending a check with the note Special Justice Sunday Offering. In the spirit of gracious giving, let us join our voices. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? The morning offering will now be gratefully received.
Howdy, folks. I'm back with a reveal of Reverend Tim's Sunday socks. Now, on this pre-Thanksgiving week, you were asked to make a choice between pardoning Tom the turkey, exploring the fall foliage of the Sierras, and eating some pumpkin pie. And you chose to pardon Tom the turkey. I do have a few reminders for you, friends. This week marks the beginning of our season of sweets. We invite you to post pictures of your confection creations on Facebook each week as we post new baking challenges. This is a way for us to spread some yummy holiday baking joy, even as we are physically separate. Also, due to the rise in COVID cases and our level being raised to purple in Fresno County, we are postponing the parking lot picnic until after it's safe for us to be together physically in person. If you're seeking community together next week, though, we have a few options for you. Monday, the 23rd at 6:30, we will have our deep listening Vesper service on Zoom. Vesper services are intimate, interactive, all ages worship services focused on sharing, song, and story. I hope you will join me. Also, on Thanksgiving Day at 2 o'clock, you can join Reverend Tim on Zoom, and he'll be holding a Thanksgiving gathering. Last but not least, I have solved a problem that I know that you have. So I know you've been racking your brain trying to figure out what do you get that person who just is the hardest to buy for. I've got you covered, and I've got your answer. See? Right now, you can purchase your very own UU Fresno face mask. It's soft, super stylish, and it shows your values while supporting your faith community. And right now, it's only $5, and you can purchase it on the Church Fresno webpage. And with that, I will pass you over to the wise and wonderful Patty.
Good morning. I'm Patty Bennett, and I'm the coordinator of congregational life here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. I'm happy to be with you today. I hope you'll join me for coffee hour after the service ends today. Maybe the service has brought up thoughts or memories that you would like to share with others before you go about the rest of your Sunday afternoon. You can check in briefly to say hello or stay on for a longer conversation. I'll post the Zoom link in the Facebook comments. Everyone is welcome. We especially want to invite newcomers to join us for conversation and an opportunity to get acquainted. Now I'll pass to Lorenzo for his message.
Hi everybody, Lorenzo here. I hope you've heard by now that on Saturday, December 5th at 7 p.m., we're having a Lorenzo and Company musical fundraiser to benefit the church's general fund. You can buy tickets to this Facebook event by visiting the church website, uufresno.org, and then click on Shop UUCF. You're going to have some spectacular fun and be able to support the church financially at the same time. And here's a little taste of what you won't want to miss.
Hello again, friends. Welcome back into my home. It is a pleasure and a joy to be part of this shared community and to get to spend my Sunday mornings with you. As we are about to embark on a holiday season filled with challenges and tribulations of uncertainty, we hold many of the families who have been robbed of a loved one this year by the unmitigated twin pandemics of racism and COVID-19. Holding and mourning with them the missing smile of a face they will not see again. In that same spirit, we are deeply grateful for memory. Those we have and those memories we have not yet made of a beautiful life filled with love, family, friends, and community. Remembering that it is a love holding all that allows us to rest in deep, deep gratitude. As we prepare to end our service this afternoon, I ask that you please join me in saying our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
Please remember, friends, until we see each other again, that you are loved, you are cherished, and you are not alone. With this, I'll pass you gently back to Reverend Tim.
Well, dear ones, we've come to the end of our service. I have closing words, our sung benediction, and then, do stay for the postlude brought to us by Mamuse. Take our hands, place them over our hearts. When I was a kid, my mom would always sing me to sleep, and this was one of my favorites. If you're worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll go to sleep counting your blessings. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. In love, go in peace. Shalom and assalamu alaikum.
Words don't come easy. How to express what we feel. It's easy breezy spring day. Here on our bellies just to be real. Thank you for all you give and all you continue to give. We are humbled that your generous ways have been from me to